Parents board.
All right, the meeting of the Social Service Committee calls to order. Take a
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Vine, McLaughlin, and Chapman are excused. Simpson?
here.
Rosano? Here. Cleary?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Lockhart?
Here.
And Pearlie.
Here.
6 present, Mr. Chairman.
All right, first order of business is approval of previous minutes.
Make a motion?
Second.
Aye.
Any opposition? Passes. All right, first order of old business. A local law of the County of Albany, New York, establishing Chapter 225 of the Albany County Code, setting forth requirements for resettlement disclosure in Albany County. Mr. Virgo.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, last month, this went through 2 committees. It went through Social Services and Law. And as a result of that, we did what a lot of people in football and baseball do. They go back to the tapes, and we take a look at all the comments that people made, and we made an effort to address every single one of them. We also requested comments from Majority Counsel's office, subsequently had a meeting where we showed them the language we were planning to use, and then we finalized everything so that we could bring it to the Social Services Committee meeting and law tomorrow night. And basically, what we did was, I don't know if you have the memo which I sent. I would like to talk off of that if anybody has it. If they don't, I think we have some extra copies of it. Does anybody need it? Okay. The first thing we did was we changed the legislative purpose and intent so that it does not refer to homeless persons, migrants, or asylum seekers, and it's revised to expand the concept of persons from foreign municipalities so that a venue owner doesn't have to make a determination as to who people are or aren't, whether they fit into one category or another. We also, I'm going to go a little bit out of order here, there were comments raised about, well, what happens if people come in and for minimal use, they come in and they rent a block of rooms or whatever. So we changed the entire threshold, would only be triggered if a foreign municipality rented at least 20 rooms for 30 days. So this is not going to capture any conference at the Hilton or anything at the Marriott. It would have to be a foreign government would be contracting for a large block of rooms for a longer period of time. We also changed, there were legitimate concerns raised about what is a foreign municipality. And we basically modified it to indicate only municipalities outside Albany County, which means if there were any agreements between Colony and the city or Colony and the county or any other municipality, they would not be included. And it also does not, it would apply to inter-county transfers between counties, towns, cities, and villages of Albany County to other municipalities partnering with Albany County. So if we had an agreement with another county, it wouldn't apply to them as well. The venue was, the definition of the venue was revised to exempt not-for-profits that are not operating rental services for for-profit basis. So you're not going to bring in the City Rescue Mission, you're not going to bring in Mercy House, those sorts of things. But the example I use is if the Red Cross were going to do a block of rooms for their own purposes, they would be exempt. if they were an agent for the city of New York, they would not be exempt. So that it really goes back to where the folks are coming from, and we're not disturbing legitimate not-for-profits in Albany County. The notice of the contract, once again, it doesn't give us the ability to say yes or no. It just triggers notice. So it clarifies that there must be a signed contract to trigger the legislation. And once again, that's for 20 rooms for a minimum of 30 days. The reasoning is a short-term stay normally would not trigger the need for a municipality's services. Notice of the contract instead of the individual having to notify 5 or 6 or 7 people, the county executive, the chair of the legislature, the majority leader, the minority leader, the local governments, the individual would only have to notify the county clerk, who would then make the notifications to those prescribed in the bill. So it makes it easier for the venue to do it. And the other thing was, I had a couple of conversations with Allison. She was very sensitive to data involving children, and we took out any references or, the requirement that ages of children or any supporting data would have to be included. So what this basically does is it protects any community from somebody coming in from another community outside this county unless they provide notice. And it would be up to the county to enforce. It would be an enforcement action like so many of the county things that would have to be done by the county attorney. So those were the changes that we made, and we tried to be receptive to each and every comment that was raised to us either publicly or privately. Be delighted to answer any questions, and I hope my counsel's backing me up over there for anything that I can't handle.
So just mechanically, the governor of Florida shipped some people to Albany County.
Yep.
And they're interacting with Albany County Social Services. Who is going to actually do the mechanical assessment of what's going on? And how are we going to determine where people are coming from?
No, this is it's not a burden of the county, Mert. If the governor of Florida were booking 200 rooms at the Marriott Hotel on Wolf Road,
Okay.
it would be up to the Marriott to inform the county clerk that they had booked 200 rooms from a foreign municipality. So the burden is on the vendor, if you will, who is having a very large contract with a foreign government.
Any questions, comments, or observations? We can entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Thank you very much.
Next order of business, authorizing an agreement with Trinity Alliance of the Capital Region, Inc., regarding the provision of family and neighborhood resource center services.
Good evening, thank you. So we want to go back into a contract with Trinity Alliance for the Neighborhood Family Resource Center, and that's supported through the COPS funding from the Office of Children and Family Services. They really provide some concrete services in the community that will address the needs of children and families. They also work with those that have been incarcerated and reestablishing themselves in the community and really provide evidence-based, strength-based services and supports to really make a stronger community as well as keeping families together and reduce the abuse and neglect in the community.
Okay, any,
I just want to thank you for getting us the numbers last month.
Oh, sure.
It was nice to actually have you come through with getting them to us.
Absolutely.
And I'll make a motion to move it.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Number 4, authorizing an agreement with the Children's Health Home of Upstate New York regarding reimbursement of Medicaid care management services provided to children in Albany County.
Thank you. This is our care management program. It was formerly known as Targeted Case Management, our ICM and SCM programs, but the state has changed it to Health Home Care Management. We contract and would like to continue to contract with CHUNY, which is a part of Northern Rivers, and we get reimbursement by Medicaid for those eligible children. But I just want to make note that we do serve non-Medicaid children as well, at no cost to the family.
And how many children do we serve? How many people do we serve?
I can get you the exact number, but we have 4 case managers, and they each have a caseload of 30 currently. But annually, I could get you those numbers if you'd like. And again, it generated revenue last year of $365,000, and this year, thus far in 2023, $205,000.
Any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to move it.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Number 5, authorizing agreements with New York State Office of Children and Family Services and Bright Side Up, Inc. regarding registration services and administrative costs.
You're going in a different order, okay. Yes, this is pass-through funding from OCFS for service, for registration and inspection of daycare centers. It is a $245,000 contract. We received $12,000 administrated to administer the funding and pass it through to Bright Side Up as required by OCFS.
Questions?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Number 6, authorizing an agreement with Peter Young Industries, Inc. regarding emergency and transitional shelter services for homeless single women.
Yes, we're requesting permission to enter into a contract with Father Peter Young Industries for to operate a 10-bed women's shelter on Thornton Avenue. And this is for a cost of $305,000. This is the first year of full contracting with Peter Young's for this shelter. It's a small shelter to help fill the gap in the need for women's single shelter beds.
Is there some kind of criterion as to the particular people that are chosen? Is it like based on greatest need or the earliest recommendation?
Yeah, we place people in shelter according to when they come in the door. So.
First come, first served.
Yeah, and according to,
Greatest need.
if they don't have certain medical issues or accessibility, handicap accessibility, some of the other shelters may be a better accommodation for them. So in general, yeah, it's kind of first come, first served.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner, where is Thornton Avenue?
It's Arbor Hill. Yeah.
Near Lexington? No.
Yeah, it's near the old Y down there, I think.
Not by your house, Jeff.
City of Albany, right?
Yes.
Not Altamont, right?
No.
Thank you.
Questions?
I'll make a motion.
Second? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Okay, number 7, authorizing an agreement with Equinox Inc. regarding non-residential domestic violence services.
Yes, this is, again, pass-through funding from OCFS for Equinox to operate their hotline, their information referral services for residential placements when they identify someone in need of a shelter. And it also provides a small component that is intensive case management for 25 people who are on TANF, who are victims of domestic violence, to really work with them one-on-one intensively to get them connected to services.
Motion?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Number 8, authorizing agreement with Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless regarding emergency and transitional shelter services.
Yes, this is the Interfaith 30-bed Sheridan Avenue shelter, which we've had for many years.
Right
You're
next door,
familiar
2
with?
doors down from my house.
They do a good job though, right?
Yeah, they do.
This is for both single males and females, and then they have a single room and elevator for special needs people. Sometimes people who may have a support animal or a transgender person who needs to be in a separate room. So this is a contract for $999,160. Yeah, again, they've been providing this service for many, many years.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with them, and have been for a while, and they do an excellent job. Any questions or comments? Motion. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Okay, number 9. Authorizing agreement with Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless regarding emergency and transitional shelter services at the South Ferry Shelter.
Yes, this is another IPH shelter. This is a 20-bed, we have 20 beds in that shelter for this service. It's single men and women, so the advantage here is they have smaller rooms, so they can put 2 or 3 persons in a room instead of congregate, so you can kind of mix it up according to whatever needs we have at the time, whether it's male or female. So it provides for flexibility for serving whoever comes through the door. This is a contract for $666,120, and they provide case management, 3 meals a day, other support services through this contract.
Questions?
Just again, I assume South Ferry is in Albany?
That is in the south end,
Green
Thank
Street.
near Green Street, yeah.
Motion. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous again. Authorizing an agreement with Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless regarding emergency and transitional shelter services at Mercy House.
Yes, it's all shelters tonight. So this is the reopening of Mercy House, which was a 19-bed female shelter. IPH is going to be opening 20 beds and do 6 females and 14 males in this Mercy House in the same facility on St. Joseph's Terrace in Albany. And they offer all the same services, case management, 3 meals a day, and other supportive services.
Questions?
It's just a general question or observation, and I think further in the agenda we get to the Skylar, and that's in Manans, correct?
That's good in the answer, yes.
But has the county or has the department done a sort of an assessment, a geographic assessment? I mean, it seems like there's no facilities in Watervliet or Cohoes or Green Island. Is it? What explains the sort of the concentration?
Whoever is willing to provide the services, willing and able, number one, and where they can locate and find a facility that can accommodate the needs. So a place where there was a former shelter is kind of an easy place to reopen a shelter. It's hard to start a new shelter somewhere. That would be something that a provider would have to do a lot of research on, find the building, get the zoning in place, all of that kind of thing. So people, Yeah, we serve people throughout the county in all of these shelters, and transportation is provided if they need it.
Now, aside from the ones we're taking up this evening, like for instance, if you did find yourself in need of services, if you were homeless and you lived in, or you didn't live in Green Island, I guess if you were homeless in Green Island, would you have to come into the city of Albany or come to county?
You'd have to come to our office, yeah.
Oh, but I mean, the shelter provided to you would be in Albany, not
In one of
in
these
Green.
single shelters, if you were a single person, if you're a family person, you would go to one of the other two, Manans or out Washington Avenue Extension.
And if you were, the domestic violence that we took up this evening, that's non-residential, right? That's just counseling, but,
Right, but there is a component, there is a shelter also.
so if you're a victim of domestic violence in Rensselaerville or Westerlo, you are provided shelter, again, in the city of Albany, or?
I don't know where the shelter is. It is a private, confidential location that I don't even know. But what the domestic violence programs do is they take people from all different counties. So our shelter might have people mixed from Saratoga, Rensselaer, and our folks might end up going to Schenectady, depending on where there's a bed and where's the safest place for them to go. Sometimes being in their own county is not the safest place for them. So that system is a whole
Makes sense.
private system
Sure.
unto itself.
Sure.
And they get placed sometimes in hotels, not often. That's not the best place for domestic violence victims. But I mean, I know that Equinox has had to send people to Ulster County, for instance, and that's the only bed available, or it's the safest place for them.
Are you hearing, or are we hearing anything from municipal leaders in some of the outlying municipalities that they have needs that are?
Not to my knowledge.
Good.
I mean, people find their way here. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Motion? Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Okay. Authorizing agreement with St. Catherine Center for Children, Marillac residents regarding the provision of family shelter services.
Yes, this is a 24-unit Tier 2 shelter, which is more intensive level of service for families. They can also stay a longer period of time, sometimes up to 6 months they might stay in this shelter. And they work intensively with them and their children to get them settled and to reduce the barriers to why they became homeless in the first place. This is a $1.7 million contract, and it includes all of their services. And this, again, has also been a long-term, multi-decade contract that we've had.
Questions? Motion? Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Authorizing agreement, number 12, authorizing agreement with Pine Ridge Industries for the provision of employment success coaching.
Yes, this is year 2 of the contract. It was a new contract with Pine Ridge last year for $105,000 to hopefully increase, to do some coaching with folks once they get into employment, going from unemployment to employment, and some case management work with them, and life skills training and goal setting and that kind of thing. It is a voluntary program, non-mandatory, so we're trying to figure out ways to get it to be more enticing to people, since they may not want somebody in their business. But we're, after the first year, we've learned some lessons on how to maybe change this and improve the engagement.
Questions or comments? Motion? Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Authorizing an agreement with Capital Area Council of Churches regarding seasonal emergency and transitional shelter services.
Yes, this is a seasonal shelter we've had for multiple years also, which only operates from November 1 till the end of April. It's up to 19 beds, males only, and it's a much more flexible kind of a shelter. They basically offer room and board is what they offer. They don't have the case management, but it's really just to get people out of the cold for Code Blue. And they've been doing this service for many, many years for us. And this is up to $154,000 for a contract.
Questions?
Motion.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Okay, authorizing agreement with Altamont Program, Inc. regarding emergency and transitional shelter services.
Yeah, this is our other family shelter. They have 60 rooms set aside for our families, for our homeless families. It's a $1.8 million contract. And they offer all the case management, 3 meals a day, support services to help people hopefully transition either to Marillac or to permanent housing.
Questions?
Is there a time limit on staying there, or is that?
No, I mean, if so, the goal is to get them into some other kind of housing or supportive services. So if they're not doing that, then we would be trying to get the case managers to work with them to figure out what's going on. You know, people can stay a long time, longer than in the past, because it's much harder to find affordable housing. So, but no, they have to have a plan of discharge. They wouldn't just be cut off.
Questions? Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let's get entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Aye.
So,